Hey guys, and welcome back to another Sony Vegas tutorial. Today we're going to talk about an alternative codec to render with. Now the reason I'm going over this is because I got a PM from one of my subscribers saying that he was basically seeing that his video, when they were longer than 20 minutes, they started degrading after the 20 minutes when he was using the Windows Media Video codec. I haven't tried that before, but I've tried that with the Windows Media Video for certain games. I don't know why. It's just certain games are affected different with these codecs, and so I've seen small amount of pixel grains and stuff like that on my videos, and this subscriber of mine was saying, you know, that he saw degrading in the video. So I thought I'd talk about another way to render out your videos, and yeah, and also get, you know, really good quality. Basically the same as with the Windows Media Video codec that I normally use. If you haven't seen the other videos, I have 1080p tutorials for both Sony Vegas and Fraps, and Sony Vegas and Bandicam, because they act a little different, those two capturing softwares. But there's a few things to note when you are using this codec that I'm gonna talk about. It's the Sony AVC codec. There's some other ones. If I go up here to go to render as, we go in here, there's gonna be yeah, you're gonna see some stuff here. I've been doing some testing on some stuff, and my vlogs are here, right? But yeah, there's different codecs to render as. Some of them are audio codecs, but some people like to use the main concept AVC AAC. I don't like that one because the files become really huge, and also that there is some pixelation issues with this codec that I don't like. So I stay away from this one. I normally do the majority of my videos are in Windows Media Video, but this one, Sony AVC, yours might be called Sony AVC / MV something. I can't remember. It can vary from your version of Sony Vegas, from what I've understood. But it's gonna be called Sony AVC. It might have a / something. Doesn't matter. You can use this one. Now the problem with this one is that, well, there's a problem with all of these codecs. Like main concept AVC will make your videos darker, right? The Sony AVC codec also makes your videos darker. Now, it doesn't only do that. It seems like it enhances coloring as well. For my vlogs, I use the Sony AVC codec because my camera, I don't know, it doesn't have as much coloring to it, so you're supposed to add color correction in post. And by using the Sony AVC codec, I don't have to, because this codec does it all for me. But with that said, it can give you a few issues. Now, before I go over all the settings and how you set it up and how you render with it and how we save the templates and all this stuff, because I have templates for this already. If I click here, you'll see I have down here, I have two for 1080p made, and I have two for 720p made. But we're gonna go over this in a little bit. Now, before we go further, there's a few things you have to consider. Now, for example, I've done this just to show you what happens, sort of say, or yeah, how things are affected. Now, since I said the picture will become darker, you don't have to, if you're using Bandicam, you don't have to use color correction. Now, if you're using Fraps, maybe this codec is not the best to use. You can do it anyways, but we're gonna get into that in a few seconds. But since it makes it darker and enhances the coloring, if you have your own intro, like for example a picture and some music underneath or whatever, and the same with an intro, outro, I mean, this can cause a few problems. Now, for example, this looks fine the way it is. This looks just fine the way it is. By the way, all this footage is from, if you didn't figured out already, this is from my Aliens vs Predator Let's Play. Now, if you're using the Sony AVC codec and rendering out, and you have a picture like this, which looks fine in the coloring, it'll become a lot darker and it'll try to enhance the colors on it. So that can look a little too dark and a little too colorful. So if that is the case, I highly suggest that you go up here, this little button up here that says Project Video Properties. I can't talk today, sorry about that. But if you click on that, it'll get your project window up. Now, what you can do, you can change this one here, the pixel format, to 32-bit, okay? To 32-bit. Now, let me explain what happens when you choose this one. When you choose this one, it ignores everything that the codec would do, like in coloring. So it will not make it darker and it will not enhance the colors. Now, here's the problem with using this one, especially if you're using Bandicam footage. Since it ignores everything, it'll just well, yeah, you have to use color correction then, right? Because normally I don't do that. I don't use color correction with Bandicam footage if I'm using the Sony AVC codec. So you have to use color correction. I've already added color correction to it. Look at what happens to the clip over here when I apply this. I'm gonna move it to the side like that and click apply. So look at the screen here and see what happens. Oh my God, that became very, very dark. Now here's why. See here, you can't hardly see what the hell is going on, right? It's very, very dark. Now that's because of the color correction. Now if you wanna like not have your intro and your outro become very, very dark, you can see it's already a little dark, which is bad, I guess. It does this no matter what. The intro will come out fine, but I would highly suggest if you have the, I'm just gonna remove this one like that. See, now it looks too bright. It looks way too bright, but it's because the 32-bit, when you change in here, if you change it to the pixel format to 32-bit floating point full range, it'll react different to color correction. So if I pull this one in, I already have a template for it right here that I can pull in if I want to. But if I pull this one in, Studio RGB to Computer RGB, like that, it becomes really, really dark. That's because of this offset right here. The offset is set to -18.6. Now what I found out to be good to do with this is set it to -4. Actually, I'll just mark the whole thing, -4, enter, like that. So now it looks really, really good. As you can see, it looks really, really, really good. It looks exactly like it's supposed to do. And that's super awesome. Now, don't worry about your intro. As far as I've seen, the intro will come out just fine, even though it looks a little darker with the 32-bit floating point on it. But yeah, that's the way to get around that. So you can, like I said, Studio RGB to Computer RGB, drag it in, release on the actual clip or clips, and then go into the actual setting and change it to -4 here. That's what I found out to be a good setting to use for this. And as you can see, it looks fine, right? All the clips here look fine, and that was supposed to be dark, by the way. So you can see here it looks completely the way it should. So it looks nice, very, very nice. And yeah, that's how you do that, right? So Studio RGB is Computer RGB, and then tone the offset to -4, and then you're good to go. Now, what you do as well is when you render it out, we're gonna go over the settings right now. So let's go down to, actually, let me just, I don't know. I do this because I'm used to it. So I'm gonna make a loop region. So just highlight the whole thing, go up to render as, and then we're gonna have the Sony AVC codec right here, Sony AVC, click on that. We're gonna check the, so you're rendering out in 1080p, right? So it will probably be 30 frames per second. So you can check this one, which is called Internet 1920 times 1080 30p. So that's 30 frames per second. Click on that one, and then go into custom. So click on that. And make sure, by the way, that you have stretch video to fill output frame size. Do not letterbox. That one has to be checked as well. You have to, yeah, I do that with everything I do. I have that one checked. So go into custom, another window opens. So here you have the settings for this, you know, this codec right here. Leave this the way it is, just fine. This whole thing about allow source to adjust frame size, don't check that, and don't check this one either. Allow source to adjust frame rate. Don't do that either. Change this one to, I don't believe it has a 31, so just change that one to 30 like that. Click outside the box or whatever. Double click on the drop down here. So now it says 30 frames per second, right? Now down here, normally I have in the Windows Media Video settings, I have it set to 24 frames per second. Sorry, frames per second. I can't talk today. Sorry about this, guys. The bitrate is set to 24 megabytes per second. Now it's set to 16. What I normally do is I tone this one up to 20. You can't manually change this to 24. It won't handle it. It'll just bounce it down to 20 on its own. So just change that one to 20. Now the file sizes will actually be a lot, well, not a lot, but they will be significantly smaller than the Windows Media Video. Now, there's more that you should know about this codec, by the way, before I go on. And this is very important. Some games do not handle this codec very well. I've tried it with a few games where it didn't look too well. So don't start using this all the time. I would highly suggest that if the Windows Media Video doesn't work, then try this one out. And possibly do a test render. So you make the loop regions here, you just shrink them in to just have 30 seconds rendered out, upload it to YouTube, have a look at it, how it looks on YouTube. Because the videos can look just fine on your end when you're previewing them on your PC, but once they get up to YouTube, they can look really, really horrible. They can look all kinds of pixelated. So change this one to 20, right? And then the pixel aspect ratio, you just leave it as it is, and then non-progressive scan. This you can set this is the cool thing about this codec. You can set it to automatic, right? Or you can change it to CPU rendering or GPU rendering. So if you set it to render using GPU if available, then it will render off your graphics card instead of your CPU. But I tend to leave mine on automatic. Now this is all set to go. There's nothing you have to do about this. Just make sure that these ones are not checked. Okay, under the profile here, there's baseline, main, and high. I've tried them all and done test uploads on YouTube, and I cannot tell the difference. I cannot see any difference from either one of them. So I just leave mine on baseline. I have another one set up for high, I believe, and I've tested them, and I can't see any difference on YouTube's end once I do this. So just leave this as it is for now, as it is here, and then you go to the audio. And you can crank up the bitrate if you want to like 192,000, and that way it'll sound good instead of sounding horrible. I mean, you can change it all the way up to, I don't know, 320 if you want to, but there's no need. But I would highly suggest this, because then your audio is gonna sound really good. So 192,000. Set that one. Go to system. And there you're not going to change anything. You're going to have it at MP4, because you can actually choose all kinds of other stuff as well, and you don't want that. You just want it as an MP4 file. Go to project, and this is the exact same thing as with the Windows Media Video Codec. With the video render quality, choose best. Now what you can do now is you can go up here, just click one so it's all marked with blue, type YouTube 1080p and then 20M. That way you know it's set to 20M and you know it's that codec, right? And you can just click the save button. I'm not gonna do so. This little disk over here, save template. If you do that, it'll save it out under templates, so you can just choose it and render really easy modes, right? And then you can click OK. So that after you've saved it, click OK. And there you go. Now we've set it up. Did I actually save that? I think I accidentally saved it. That's cute. I don't need that. I can actually go in here. Can I go to custom? Here it is. And just delete it. There you go. Cancel. So now I have my 1080p baseline and high as well in here. But I normally use the baseline one. And now you're ready to render out. So just a quick recap, right? 32-bit floating point if you have your own custom intros and outros. So go up here to this one, change it to the 32-bit floating point full range. Like I said, color correction will act differently to the 32-bit, right? So when you pull in the studio RGB to computer RGB, go into the the event FX and change the offset to -4. And then push enter and then shut it down, and it should look super awesome. And then set up your render settings, and then you're good to go, guys. You're good to go. If you're having any issues, like I said, I've had it with the Windows Media Video Codec. I've had a few issues with pixelation, just certain games. I don't know what determines whether or not the footage will render out with pixelation, or in my subscriber's case here, slowly degrade the video so it looks like it looks like it's smudged or whatever. You can't really tell what's going on toward the end of the video if it's longer than 20 minutes. But if you're having any issues with the Windows Media Video Codec, this is a great codec to use. I use it every day for my vlogs because it's awesome for IRL footage, especially if you have a pretty good camera that doesn't add a lot of coloring to it, so you need to add color correction to it afterwards. By using this codec, I don't have to. Like I said, I already mentioned that. But yeah, I hope you find this video useful. I know it's a little long, but I wanted to be super thorough and explain everything so you guys can understand it, even if you're somewhat new to video editing and rendering videos out for YouTube. But yeah, as usual, guys, click the like button below if you like this video and share it with your friends, because that helps me out a whole lot. And take care, have fun, see you all in the next one.